They didn't pick you by accident. You were chosen. Before the strange stares and the breakdown of your daily life, they had already selected you. This process didn't start with someone flipping through names. It started quietly, digitally, through systems you use every day. What most people don't realize is that this isn't about luck. There's a method for how targets are chosen and activated. It begins with data, massive data sets from social media, app usage, and shopping habits. Every digital move you make is logged and analyzed. You are placed into psychological buckets. You show signs of isolation. You question mainstream narratives. These markers flag you. Once you're in the system, you're visible to the wrong eyes. There are programs that seek out what they consider interesting minds. You may be viewed as a threat or just a data point. Your phone listens, your GPS logs movements. You don't need to be famous, just noticeable. And once you are, that's when it begins. At first it's small. You notice the same stranger twice in one day. Your phone glitches more than usual. You try to ignore it, but deep down you know. The coincidences stack too perfectly. Then you catch someone looking at you for too long. This look has weight, intent. They test your awareness. They want to see how much you notice and react. If you ignore it, they turn up the pressure. If you panic, they document your breakdown. When you start to document it, you've crossed the line from passive subject to active target. The system is always working. You're now a node in the network. So ask yourself, if this has already started, what comes next? Things around you start to change, not by accident, but by design. Your normal routes feel off. The same faces appear in the background. You start to hear things, a ringtone that repeats, loud coughing near your window. These are not just coincidences, they're behavioral cues. You're being conditioned. This is the transition from observation to influence, from passive tracking to active control. Your home doesn't feel safe. You wake up at 3 a.m. drenched in unease. Even your pets start to act differently, like they sense something you can't see. That's how the architecture of control begins. With suggestion and repetition. It's not just your environment, it's your relationships. People you trusted start to distance themselves. You start to question everyone. That's intentional. Isolation breaks people faster than pain. When you're finally alone, that's when they intensify everything. You're not just being watched, you're being manipulated. You've entered the second phase of targeting, psychological destabilization. The goal is to create your behavior, not just observe it. If you don't recognize it in time, you start reacting exactly how they hope you will. The key is to see it while it's happening. To know the difference between coincidence and pattern, because what comes next is even more deliberate. They'll try to rewrite your identity. That's when everything around you starts to shift, not by chance, but by design. Your usual routes feel strange. Familiar faces linger in the background. A stranger in a red hoodie walks by at 7:46 a.m. every day for a week. Then they vanish, replaced by someone else. But the pattern remains. You start to notice things. A ringtone echoes in different places. A cough near your window. A horn honks in the same rhythm every time you step outside. These aren't coincidences, they're cues designed to condition your response. You're being influenced. This is the shift from observation to control. Your home no longer feels safe. You wake up at 3 a.m. drenched in anxiety. Even your pets act differently, sensing something unseen. This is how control begins, not with force, but with suggestion and repetition. And it's not just your surroundings. Your relationships change. Trusted friends distance themselves, offering odd advice. You start to question everyone. That's intentional. Isolation breaks people faster than pain. The more you doubt your circle, the more vulnerable you become. When you're finally alone, that's when the manipulation intensifies. You've entered a new phase, psychological destabilization through environmental saturation. The goal isn't just to observe you, but to shape your behavior. If you don't recognize it, you'll react just as they want you to. The key is to see it happening, to distinguish between coincidence and pattern, to identify the script before you're written into it. Because what comes next is even more calculated. They won't just alter your mind, they'll try to rewrite your identity. Once your sense of self erodes, you become malleable. They know if they can shape your narrative, they can control your reality. This is where gaslighting reaches its peak. You start to wonder, am I losing it? But that internal collapse is their goal. Once you question your perception, they can insert a new one. They might label you as unstable or dangerous, not because it's true, but to justify their actions. Meanwhile, everything continues in the background, undeniable yet invisible. Your digital footprint is policed. Every post, call, photo is flagged or twisted. You're being erased in real time. And when someone asks, why is this happening to you? You struggle to answer because it's not just their actions, it's how they make you feel, like you deserve this, like you asked for it, like it's a response to something broken inside you. But it's not. It was never about your flaws, it was about your potential. It was about your potential. Your mind isn't weak, it's powerful. too powerful for the system to ignore. That's why they want to dismantle it. The next stage isn't just about confusion or control, it's about transformation. They want you to embody fear, to wake up and instinctively submit to it. They make the abnormal feel normal. You go to the store and everything feels off. The same clock gives you a strange look. You start to feel hunted. Your nervous system adapts. You flinch before anything happens. You walk differently, think differently, like prey. But this transformation isn't accidental, it's engineered. They want to rewire your emotional responses, to break your internal compass. They shape your behavior without confrontation. You avoid certain people, distrust environments, censor yourself online. You retreat from anything that gives you power. Over time, you start doing it on your own. Their system becomes invisible. It lives inside you. You're no longer just being stalked, you're stalking yourself. You second guess every decision, anticipate sabotage. It's psychological claustrophobia. Your mind boxed into a reality you didn't choose. And when you try to speak out, the world doesn't want to hear it. People say you're imagining things, even with evidence. They need to believe it's not real. Society looks away, and that silence becomes a weapon. You're boxed in by two forces, those who target you and those who doubt you. But some of us don't stay quiet. We notice the weak spots, the timing errors, the scripted responses. We track, we map, we speak. And the system hates that. Your awareness is their enemy. Once you're certain, you become unpredictable. You stay calm in chaos. That's the most dangerous thing you can do. Stay sane. In their game, sanity is resistance. It's remembering who you are while they try to erase you. And that's the beginning of a shift. A subtle shift, but one they notice. They start switching tactics, some back off, some escalate. But you've seen too much now. You know the setups, the manipulation before it even begins. You're no longer ashamed to say it. You're watching them back. This isn't about being a victim. It's about understanding the system to outthink it. That's what they fear most. For all their surveillance, they cannot control someone who knows their mind is real, who believes in their own perception. Because if one person sees it, soon others will too, and the entire illusion they've built starts to fall apart. When the illusion starts to crack, desperation sets in. Everything hinges on you not knowing the truth. Once you see the gears turning, you become uncontrollable. But they've prepared for that too. Phase 3, discredit and disorient. They attack your reputation, not with evidence, but with suggestion. Suddenly, your name is flagged, complaints flood in, and whispers surround you. When you try to explain, they twist your truth into proof of insanity. You mention gangstalking, and they shut down the conversation. The term itself has been weaponized against you. They don't need to silence you directly, they just need to make you sound unbelievable. But here's the twist, the truth spreads anyway, through forums, late night calls, and videos just like this one. People from all walks of life describe the same patterns, the same gaslighting. When you realize it's not just you, everything shifts. Now, it's not just survival, it's resistance. Their system relies on isolation, but we are connecting. In that connection, their power starts to slip. When we compare notes, we stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. We stop blaming ourselves and hiding, and that makes us dangerous. We start planning, documenting everything offline, off-grid. They want control, we give them calculation. They want fear, we give them focus, and that's what they can't predict. Their system is built for emotional manipulation, not intellectual resistance. They can trigger panic, but they can't handle precision. They don't know what to do when you become resilient. You start asking the questions that cut through the noise. What is the end goal? Who benefits from my silence? And that's when you find it, the exit door. It's not physical, it's psychological, intellectual, spiritual. The system loses power the moment you stop playing by its rules. You were chosen not because you're weak, but because you're aware, and that awareness is contagious. Now the game flips, you're ahead of it. You read energy, recognize scripts, feel shifts before they're visible. You see the architecture for what it is, a loop of fear, but you're out of the loop. You're building something new, documenting, educating, sharing. This was never just about you, it was about waking others up. And that's the one thing they never prepared for.